How you doing, Caesar? Hi, Marco. Sound and video okay? Everything working all right, guys? Hey, Brian, good to see you. Are you getting all ready for the snowstorm that's coming? Hi, Graham. Hater, how you doing? Hi, expert. Martin, how are you? Steve? Hi, Steve. Tourbillon. Donald. California, early California. Hello, Abdul. I guess there's sort of a critical mass we're reaching. Yeah. Hi, Owen. Raymond, how you doing? Yeah, me too, Donald. Paul, good day. Good to see you, Paul. Okie doke. Let's get started. I got a lot of stuff to get into, and you might have questions about it. Hi, Equus. Michael, how are you? Okie doke. The first thing I want to talk about is the Etude number 2, the progress on that. And Thursday, I got this thing that 10 bases were to be sent from Comblamine to Rodior. And these Rodior are the guys who are doing the whatever it takes to do the de-oxidizing or to fix them so they never get oxidized in the first place. Now this is from what Comblamine said. The 110 machined and sprayed bases will be available for processing early in week 5. By week 5, they mean the week of January 27th, I think. I'm not sure how they count the weeks. I think the first week of this month of this year, actually, I think they go by weeks of the year. I'm not sure if that was a whole or not. So from what I could figure out from the calendar, the 5th week of the year will be January 27th. So that's coming up in a week and a half for the rest of them. And then I got an email from Rodior, and he talked about 2 operations. He said the first one is electroplating, which will take 2 days, and then the ALD. I'm not sure what ALD stands for. I'm not going to pretend I do. It's some kind of process, and that'll take a week on average. And at this point, as long as they're moving along with it, I'm happy. I don't want them to try to rush it in any way. I want to get it done right. Um, and so there's a 2 weeks lead time with shipping and receiving. So maybe by the end of February, I'm not sure. I'm hoping on that that we can have that done by then. I got a thing from, I think I mentioned this from so I'm jumping ahead here. I got a thing from Sebastian, and I'm not sure whether he or Matu is sort of the point man on this one. They will go from, I guess, Rodior to Mike, who will then ship them to Agenor, and Sebastian will be working, putting them together then. And once they start putting them together, there were two people in the U.S. who didn't get theirs, and so they'll get just the two shipment, and then the rest will go to first to Europe, then to Asia and Australia, and then the final group will be those of us who got theirs and then sent them back again. So that's pretty much where we are on Etude number 2. Anything I should ask or any questions or anything else you guys want me to do on this one? Yeah, I have no idea what they are, Brian. You're right. I just hope it's one that doesn't oxidize. The pink one didn't. I wish we had all pink ones. Okay. So about all we can do on this. It seems that who is the guy that pushed the rock up the mountain? Scythius or something like that. It seems that this one is Etude. We come up and something happens. We come down, and so anyway, we'll let that one go and just keep an eye on it. I think I'll have after going through this thing that I'll mention and talk about in a bit about Sebastian's role in all of this, to have him sort of monitor it. He's very much of a stickler on these things, so that's not a bad thing. I hope so, Brian. I just feel like Charlie Brown and Lucy on this deal, pulling the football. Like wow. Okay. Anything else? Okie doke. Raymond, ALD is atomic layer deposition. Oh, thank you. A form of coating that's superior to PVD, so hoping the results will be better for us. Thank you, Raymond. Great. Okay. All right. So anything else on that? We're good. All right, let's go on to Air Zoulou now, where we are on that. Rob had asked me to get a complete list of everyone that we have for Air Zoulou, and there have been all of these changes and all of this other stuff going along. So I sent him everything I had, plus what I could get on the from Asia and Australia and Europe and all of the Americas. And apparently, we have more people than we had planned for originally. And so, after I guess this week, we need to go over it pretty carefully. And if we have over 100, we're going to have to make adjustments for that. And the only way to make adjustments is simply to inform the number of movements we'll need and the number of cases and so on and so forth we'll need for that, and then proceed with this new number. The we had so many switches and flips and flops and thises and thatses that I we lost track with everything else going on. It was something, but anyway, we're nailing it down, so that's going to be solid. I got a note from Rob. We're in, yeah, Donald. But I'll tell you, I got to tell you, the guys, the transfer coordinators, Donald and Benny and Nigel really are on top of it. So that's a good thing. Okay, so now, so the second payment of 3,200 for the for Air Zulu went out, and this was based on what we talked about last week was the estimate, not estimate, offer we got from Agenor for what it would cost for the movement and the parts and everything. And there were two different ones. One was, forgot how much, something like 390,000, and the other was 139,000, and the other one was like 94,000, I think. And the 94 was for Air Sautante, and the other one was for Air Zoulou. So Rob knew how much we had in the kitty, and he said this would be a good time to have our second payment, which would be more than cover it, but then we're going to have other payments that are becoming due for other things we're going to be doing. So anyway, the the work on this is, and from what I heard from Rob, we've got enough right now to cover the invoice from Agenor, but we haven't got the invoice from Agenor. I talked to Nicholas, and I asked him if we could have separate ones for Air Zulu and Air Sautante. And he said yes. And I think this is really important, because then all of the ones for Air Sautante will be sent to Abdul to coordinate with them, and the ones for Air Zulu will be sent to me, and I can coordinate for them, and then we can both coordinate through Rob. Believe me, it is really fantastic having Rob. It just I'm still, my bank account is just, God, every day I worry I'm going to get a visit from the IRS or somebody, and just saying, what is this you're doing? Anyway, but things are moving along. Hey, Kirk, how you doing? Good to see you. Yeah, Rob is fantastic. And here's a guy, he's working full time as an orthopedic surgeon, and he's doing all this stuff for it. And believe me, it really is great. Hello, Aloysius, how you doing? Hi, Michael. Yes. Yeah, Michael. Yes, it is. They're all going to it's called the Lyrique LLC account. Okay. Okay. Any questions on that? On the second payment? Any questions on that? They're all being sent to Rob. Okie doke. The guy who's doing, Caesar, yeah. Any ideas how many watches we predict to have for Air Zulu? I'm trying to think. Well, originally they're going to be 105, and then I think because I mentioned, I said, wait a minute, we want 107 so that Air Sautante can have one for the for our donation to the scholarship fund that the Horological Society of New York has, and then the other one to be available for the Grand Prix. And so he said, well, we had already figured 108 by then. And so now what we'll do is, Caesar, to answer your question, making sure everything is, all of the dust is settled. And I can give you a number, but it's about, I don't know, maybe 3, 4, 5 over what the number that we had started with. It's it got the loose. So anyway, but it's something we're handling, and we can do it now. It's important that we get it done now. We've been in there's been a lot of stuff happening. We changed bank accounts with Etude number 3. We had, not Etude number 3, but Zoulou. And we just had a lot of different things going on. And plus that mess of getting the oxidation thing fixed. So it's been a lot busier than it should have been. I mean, right now we should have had Etude number 2 should be in everybody's wrist and no worries about it, but we're still working on it. And here we are moving on with Zoulou. So anyway, we'll come up with it, and then we'll decide to do whatever. I don't know. Probably just order enough so that we cover everybody that we have, and we're at a time where we can do that right now. Okay, anything else on that? A potted watch never ticks. You're right about that. Okay. All right. Let's go on. The New York Times article. I got another thing from a reporter. The reporter, we had met and had a long interview. Must have been a month ago or so. Not sure exactly how long ago it was, but we had a real nice interview. I told him all about Lyrique and what we were doing or what we were trying to do. And then he had some follow-ups. He had some questions from his editor, and then he had another one. And so I sent him a picture of the case, the dial, the hands, the coordination that we're having with UMAN, AB Products, and Aganor. So that, in other words, this is the latest that we have with everything that we're doing so far. And he seemed to be really happy with it. So he also, well, I hope he's happy with it. I think the guy's interested in horology, and I think that's all that's important. So anyway. Oh yeah, Brian. Yeah, everybody made the payments, so that was the problem. I mean, if somebody hadn't, we'd simply say, we just take them off the list. No, these are people who paid, so we can't tell someone, "Gee whiz, you paid," and hit the road. So we're sort of, it just, like I said, we had a lot of stuff going on this one. Does that help clear it up any? Other than saying we had a lot going on. If we had 100, we had that number who paid. So what we had to do, we had to check everyone to make sure that they had. And there were some that I had sent to Paul on number 2 that had paid partial, and some other weird stuff like that. The banking, some very strange things happen in transfers. Some we get like for the amount that we need. Other ones have a uh, some kind of weird bank charge from the bank that they're sending it from. There's all kinds of things like that. I mean, I wish it were nice to say, okay, if you send in 3,200, you get 3,200, but sometimes you don't. And the amount, if you get enough of those, then there's a problem. And so, and then somebody goes and they make it up, and then they overpaid. We don't want that either. And it's just not easy. I mean, it's not a. I wish it were easier, but it's not. Equus, design wise, what will the next rotations? Well, what we're doing next, design wise, we're simply sending it. They're being sent to UMAN. What we have to do now, Equus, is that we have to take the dial, the case, the hands, and make sure they all fit together with the movement. That was a little diagram that I had on the side of the announcement. We've got UMAN for the dial and the hands. We got AB Concept product for the case, and then we have Agonar. And so we're finished with the design elements, and now we're really dealing with the production elements. This is the invoice we'll be getting from Agonar will be for the design. Well, no, we already paid that. This is for it's going into production now. So we're beyond the design phase and we're into the production phase. The dial and hands are being handled by UMAN. And this is one of the things that we're hoping that in the future that we can deal with is that UMAN will handle all of them together. The case, the dial, and the hands. So we'll have, and they're all, and it's just one place in Geneva. So depending who's going to be doing the follow-up on the production, it's either going to be Sebastian or Matu. I'll talk about that in a second, okay? Okay. Anything else on that? Oh, good question, Kirk. The reason, yeah, this is something the people at UMAN were the big surprise I had. I went to the after party that they had after that Agonar had after the GPHG, and there was incredible people who were there. And that was where I met the reporter from the New York Times, and then I met let me get the name for you. Virginie Tellier, I think that's how you pronounce it. And she's the, can I get some light here? She's the director at UMAN. And I talked to a lot of people, primarily Nicholas. And Nicholas said, yeah, they're very highly recommended. And so when I went to visit them, I found out why. This is a place that I described where it was sort of a nondescript area, and it was sort of half sort of the building they were in. I mean, it was a modern building, but it was the way it was, the offices were set up on the floor that they were on. They were like, some were like vaults to get in, and theirs had a camera there. They looked at you before they let you in. Then in there, they had these. They were doing work on brands that brag about doing nothing but in-house. Okay, so, and I was really surprised and very impressed. I'm hoping that Abdul said he was going to go visit them too, and I hope so, because I think They were very much of a surprise. One of the things there's so much going on in the whole watchmaking business that we never see, and being sort of allowed into see beyond the the ledge has been very very enlightening. The way things are at Agenor, was very impressed with that. And they showed me everything that they were doing. They even showed me some extra movements they made for Etude number 2. So, oh, okay. Oh, okay. Thanks, Abdul. Okay. Um, let's go on. I can okay, like I had mentioned, okay, the New York Times, the case, dial, hands, coordination with UMAN and AB products and Agenor. There was something, the last I heard about our case from Matthew was good news. He said, "Oh, we got some good news." And I forgot, it was, I think things were working out basically. There was some question he had about something with the case. And he got the answer, and it was what he was hoping to get. Hamstring. I know. Yeah, you're right, Brian. I tell you, it's you know, very few people know this, but he's Abdul is is an NFL player in the playoffs, and that happens. It's a sports injury. Okay, this is no offense, Kirk, but this is exactly why it could be keeping track of everything is interesting. Yeah, I know. Uh, the last injury I had, my vet said that I have to. They gave me a collar. I hope you get well soon, Abdul. I really do. Thanks, Brian. I was very happy with that too. Okay. Okey doke. Now everyone wants to know, Abdul, how you hurt yourself. Okay, guys, let me finish up here. We gotta I wanna I wanna have plenty of time so for us to go into, the Heure, Sautante. So any kind of questions you guys have about that, but I wanna finish up a couple things here first, okay? Alright, there's the, item number E. Mathieu and, Sebastian are redefining their roles, and, um, the that's, I got a list of things from, Sebastian from MAID. He wants to increase the role for quality selection and participation. I'm still trying to work out exactly what that's going to be because it's gonna be working with all of us. I mean, all of our future work that we have with, both Matthew and, Sebastian. Okay, and I'll try to get out that. Okay, now, Abdul, go ahead and to one for, Caesar's, question. I am hoping that, and not in a bad way, but in a good way, that Abdul will have his own, sections so that you can really concentrate on the, Air Soutant, issues that you're gonna have to deal with. Right now, we sort of doubled up on, we tripled up actually. We thought by now we'd be finished with Etude number 2. We're not. That will eventually be done, and so what I'm hoping to do once we get that solved, we'll just have these, weekly meetings, one for Air Sutant, one for Air Zoulou. That would be in that way, we can focus a little more if that sounds, good to everybody, but go ahead, Abdul, anything you wanna have. Yeah, that getting a list done and getting everything straightened out, I think is important. Okay, Abdul, is there anything else you'd like to say about the first payment? We're sort of at the end of the agenda right now, and I wanna be sure that you get a chance to cover it and answer any questions that you have. Uh, if I could, Michael, this I'm not sure if this is one of the things. I don't know if this would help or not, but I think what Abdul had said that what we're getting sort of a double invoicing right now on the parts, and the reason we may end up with a double invoice and near double payments just for this one time is because we're by by working together on this, by having the parts ordered for both watches at the same time, we save a whole lot on the price of the movement, and so that's why we're doing it. And but the thing is that we just had our second payment done, and I don't know when we're going to have the last payment, but I don't see it coming too soon unless we run out of money, which I don't think we will. Um, we will be having payments for the production of the dial and hands and of the case. And some of those, we'll have to take a look to see how much of those have already been done, but there should be like a pretty big gap. And I don't think there's going to be another one on Heure for a while because the that I just don't because they basically this is for the movement parts, and they're not going to even start on the movement and probably I don't know when, maybe not until next year, until early 2026. But they'll have all of the parts and everything and for that ready, and then there'll be some other things that'll be going on. But by then, uh, we should if things work out right, knock on wood, there shouldn't be another payment for a while from Heure Zoulou and for a long while on Heure Sautante, but that's from where it looks right now. Sorry, Abdul, I'm going to interrupt, but I thought it might, if that would clarify. Okay, we reached the end of our agenda. Any other comments or questions? Anything else you guys can think of that you wanted to mention? You know, Abdul, I'm going to be very curious what's going to happen to us once the New York Times article comes out. What I'm hoping is that if we really work together uh, as sort of a pushing are really advertising and promoting the sports theme of Heure, Zoulou. If we make the nominations, this will turn us into a whole new category of watches. I think the watches we have so far are really great, and the competition that we're facing in like the complicated watches and some of the other ones that we're avoiding for the sports watch, we might as well just throw the 800 Swiss francs down a rat hole. So rather than doing that, we're giving our all to the sports category and hope that we can come up with something that they like enough, at least for nominations. Abdul's right. Yeah, we were talking about, we don't want to sound like a bunch of old guys crying in their beer, but on the first one we had, when everything was new, it was a big adventure we were all engaged in. And I think all of us who went through that would like to do the same thing with this. And believe me, we all have things that we would rather not have, but we said, "Hey, look, this is better than we thought," and off we went. So, okay, well, look, guys, those of you in Heure, Zoulou, the second payment is due on Heure Sautante. You should be getting it pretty soon. And if there's anything else, you can bring it up on one of our Facebook pages, or you can contact me or Abdul or your coordinator or anyone else you want to. So, guys, those of us who are expecting a storm today, hang in there. The rest of you, I hope you don't have any. The guys in the Midwest, I know, have been through a miserable one. The South, those guys have gotten hit. I know that England had not too long ago, Great Britain got smacked by these weird winds and stuff. So everybody stay safe, okay? Hang in there.